Hey, this is Kelsey from Tech Ops, and today I got a video for you about cabin Wi-Fi. All right, as you know, we've been installing new systems on the airplanes. We have actually 4 systems available at Delta Airlines. We have Airtoground, which is on your 717s. We have KA, which is the latest and the greatest. We also have 2KU and just KU. Okay. How do you know the Wi-Fi is even installed? Well, you're typically going to see a placard up on your overhead, maybe here in the marquee as you walk in, or in their L1 area, mainly your coat closet. You could find a switch. That's how we know it's installed on the aircraft. And let's discuss the air-to-ground. All right. So air-to-ground systems, obviously, they only work over ground, over land. We have a cell phone tower that has antennas on the top that point up towards the airplanes, and the airplanes have a small antenna on the bottom that receive this signal from the ground. So of course, as you're flying over the country or wherever you're at, you could have areas of signal and areas of no signal, which is one of the disadvantages of the airground. That, and it's pretty slow. You're looking at text messages, maybe a couple pictures. Any high data use computing isn't going to work well over the air-to-ground systems. They're again only on your 717. You'll typically see a airphone, telephone, hand mic up front at the L1 door area by the flight attendant seat. Safety concerns, not a ton, because it's just using cell technology, and we're picking that signal up off of the ground. One of the reasons why is we have the 10,000 foot rule is for interference with the flight deck radios and instrumentation and stuff like that. But there's really no exposure concerns. All right. So the satellite cabin Wi-Fi that we utilize, we actually have 3 different systems. We have the older KU. Then we made it better by adding another KU antenna, so it's called 2KU. And then we added latest and greatest on Ship 1001. We have the KA band Viasat system, and these systems all operate about the same way. We have a satellite in a geosynchronous orbit that's hanging out right above us, and we're going to shoot a signal up to them, and we're going to communicate with them to get on the internet. That signal comes into the airplane. It rolls down here to the forward equipment center normally, where we have a modem, and then it goes into a server, and from that server we feed the wireless access points in the ceiling of the cabin. Now, these wireless access points are nothing more than a router, and it's what the users are going to be connecting with. Okay, the KA and the KU bands, it's just a frequency difference, but the speed change from the KU to the KA is going to be much quicker. It's of course, current technology. So yeah, there is a little bit of a safety concern though, with sending that information all the way up to space from that antenna. You got a little antenna that's going to locate itself and then shoot that signal directly up to the satellite. We're worried about a little bit of high power antenna and radiation for any ground crew that might be up there. Now, you're going to ask the question, the satellite's on top of the airplane next to the vertical stab. Who's going to be up there? Well, during a de-icing event, the pilots will have the ability to mute the antenna so that when they're up there in the bucket spraying the de-ice fluid, they don't come in contact with any signal, okay? So that's why we're able to mute it during de-icing. And of course, the deactivation switches are, of course, if maintenance has to go up there and they just want to turn the whole system off so they don't have to worry about the signal reaching them. All right, so normal operation of our Wi-Fi, when does it work? Pretty much is anytime the airplane's powered. We do have some signals incorporated to show that when we start the flight, like the L1 door being closed, or the beacon, or the break off signal, that indicates that the flight has started, and we're going to go ahead and start providing satellite service, satellite connectivity. And typically that's going to happen until the door reopens or the brakes are reset or we're back on the ground or something, some signal showing that the flight is stopped or the flight has been closed. For the air-to-ground systems on the 717, that's a 10,000 foot rule because we're utilizing cell data, and that has a higher interference with radios and navigational aids. So we are going to shut that down below 10,000 feet and not turn it on until above 10,000 feet. During the course of the flight, if you have problems with this system, if you got problems with 1 or 2 or 3, 4 people, it's okay. If you have problems with everybody and your Sky Pros aren't connected and your flight ops people behind the door aren't connected, that's a reason to come over here to your coat closet and tap your reset switch. Now, typically this reset switch, you push, you hold it for 1 second, you release. It'll take between 10 and 15 minutes to reboot. And that's doing a full reboot of the system, and the satellite has to find the location of the airplane and pick up the signal, and all the routers have to come back online, and the modem has to come back online. So it's a pretty involved process, so it'll take between 10 and 15 minutes. But it's only to be used if there's mass outage and no one's connected. That's the only time that you should really be hitting the reset button. In addition to that, behind this cover right here, there is a standard Ethernet line. And behind that, and sometimes it's a little screw-on cap, that's for maintenance. That's so we can come in and we can plug into the system and we can do some diagnostic checks and we can check some of those signals and to see if there's any software updates, stuff like that for the system.